Welcome to the Business of Style podcast with me, your host, Louisa Gabriel. I'm a personal stylist and image strategist who grew a successful six-figure business, and now I'm educating and empowering other personal stylists and image professionals just like you to do the same. So please keep listening to hear the lessons I've learned and the strategies I've used along the way that are guaranteed to take your personal styling career from side hustle to six figures too. Welcome back to the Business of Style podcast. Today's episode comes directly from multiple listener questions that we had submitted for our 100th episode. It's a very common frustration that I hear in general from both new stylists and those that have been in the industry for years. And as so many of you submitted questions on this topic, I thought it needed a full episode to be able to give you all very clear guidance and get you on the right path. So, what is the question? Well, it usually sounds something like this. I have thousands of followers on Instagram or TikTok. My content gets good engagement. People comment, save, share, but no one is actually booking me. Or I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing on social media, but it's not turning into paying clients. If this is you, I want to start by saying this very clearly. This is not a personal failure, and it does not mean that you're bad at business. What it usually means is that there is a disconnect between what your content is doing and what your business actually needs. So today, I want to walk you through the following: why followers often don't convert into clients, where stylists unintentionally go wrong on social media, why relying too heavily on social platforms can actually hold your business back, and how social media should realistically fit into your marketing plan so you can be a stylist first, not a content creator. So Cole from New York, Amanda from Toulouse in France, Mirabelle from Toronto, Canada, Alex from Birmingham, England, and the many other listeners who are experiencing the same frustration with social media, this episode is for you. So let's dive in. First, let's clear up a big myth. Now, somewhere along the way, the styling industry absorbed this idea that social media growth equals business growth. That if you get just enough followers, clients will naturally appear. But personal styling is not an impulse purchase. It's actually a high trust, high touch service. People are inviting you into their wardrobe, their body insecurities, their lifestyles, and often their confidence struggles. And that decision usually takes time, reassurance, clarity, and definitely trust. You really have to nurture a relationship to help people make that decision to want to work with you. A follow button does not equal readiness to buy. And just because somebody follows you doesn't mean that they want to buy or that they're ready to buy. So when stylists say, I have the audience, but not the clients, the real issue is usually positioning, not popularity. So you may see stylists or color analysts online with over 10,000 followers, and it may seem like their business is doing great, but what it often means is that the content is popular on social media, but it doesn't mean that their business is doing great. I believe it was Cole in New York who emailed saying that he had almost 20,000 followers on Instagram and he gets lots of engagement, but he's actually only booked 2 clients as a result of his Instagram content. So if the follower count of other stylists and color analysts makes you feel a little insecure, then don't let it, okay? Because followers typically don't equal clients. So let's delve deeper into this, shall we? And the reasons why your followers on social media are not buying from you. Reason number 1. Your content attracts admiration, but not action. Now, this is one of the most common patterns that I see. Many stylists create content that is visually beautiful, it's stylish, it's inspirational, and it's on trend. Think about outfit reels, flat lays, trend breakdowns, those get ready with me videos, before and afters, but they have no explanation. And while this content performs well from an algorithm standpoint, it often stops at the admiration of people who are seeing it. Your audience is going to think she's stylish. I love her taste. I wish I looked like that. But admiration doesn't automatically turn into action from these people. So what's missing is often context. Clients really need help being able to connect the dots between what they're watching and how it actually applies to their own lives. So, for example, instead of just showing outfits, your content could actually speak to why this outfit works for a busy professional, how it solves a common wardrobe problem, what changes for the client after working with a stylist. If your content never answers, why does this matter to me? Your audience is always going to stay passive. Reason number 2, you're educating, but not guiding. Another common issue that stylists they're teaching, but they're not leading. And educational content is powerful. It really is. And it should be something that you're doing. But it's only powerful from a business sense if it actually leads somewhere. So many stylists, I'm sure you're doing this, you're out there posting styling tips, color advice, maybe fit guidance, different capsule wardrobe ideas, but they all stop short of helping the audience understand this one thing. When should I stop trying to do this for myself and hire a professional? Clients don't know when it's appropriate to invest in a stylist unless you actually show them the value of what you're doing. I've talked about this in so many episodes. I know you understand all about the value of your services and making it very clear, but you got to let them know when is the time to kind of hang it up and get the help that you're looking for. You have to normalize the decision to reach out and get help from somebody else rather than trying to do it yourself through social media tips and videos. And, that might look something like talking about life transitions, explaining who styling is not for, sharing common client struggles that you have come across, showing those before and after emotionally, not just visually. Education is going to build trust. Guidance is what creates clients. Reason number 3, you're speaking to other stylists, not buyers. Now, this happens more often than people realize. If your comments and DMs are mostly from other stylists saying, love this, so true, such a great tip, that's a sign that your content is positioned for the wrong people. It's positioned for your peers, for other stylists and image professionals or color analysts. It's not actually positioned for your target audience. This usually happens when content focuses a little too much on industry language or professional processes, styling theory, trend analysis from a stylist perspective. That's all going to attract the attention of other stylists. And clients don't typically think in those terms. What clients are most likely thinking is, I don't know what to wear. I hate shopping. My wardrobe doesn't match my lifestyle. I feel invisible. I just don't trust my choices. When your content speaks directly to those thoughts, then your clients or potential clients are going to feel seen. When it speaks about styling instead of about them, that is when they're going to actually start scrolling on and moving on to the next stylist. Reason number 4, you haven't clearly said how to work with you. Now, this is a practical issue and it seems like it's something simple. It is something simple, but it's a huge one and it's a huge mistake that I see time and time again. Many stylists assume that if somebody wants to book with them, that they'll figure it out. But the truth is that most people won't. They're not going to spend time clicking around. They're not going to DM awkwardly. They don't want to be asking for pricing. They don't want to have to guess what they should do next. So if your bio, your highlights, your pin posts or captions don't clearly state who you work with, services you offer, what the first step is, and where to go next, then you're creating this unnecessary friction in the buy-in process. So people don't avoid booking because they're not interested. They avoid booking because it feels unclear and uncomfortable. And they will search out people who actually lay it out for them and make the process as plain and simple to follow as possible. So clear instructions make people feel safe and they actually facilitate action. So a very important step that you need to take. And reason number 5, you're attracting the wrong audience. So this is especially common on, I think, TikTok and Reels. So short form video like Reels and TikTok videos, they can bring in really large audiences very quickly, especially if you're using the different trends for these Reels and videos. But unfortunately, it's not always going to be the right audience, which is why you're seeing that your followers are increasing in numbers, but still nobody's booking. So if your content is broad or it's viral or it's trend driven, which Reels and TikTok typically seem to be, you're going to potentially be attracting fashion fans, maybe students. You might attract teenagers who were into those video trends, or people with no budget for services, people outside of your service area. And while none of this is bad, it does explain why your followers aren't converting. The trends that you are using, the music that you're even using that you think is going to generate traction for your content, it's definitely going to do that, but it's not targeting the right people. So if you're a color analyst and your videos are about helping people understand color analysis and how to determine color seasons, then you're most likely going to attract people that are trying to figure out their own season and not necessarily those that want to pay for you to do it for them, right? Why should they pay you when you're basically giving them the information and helping them step by step to figure it out? So if you're doing that, you want to look at that. Is that a good strategy? And it's especially important if you've not given them the reason why they should pay you and not do it for themselves. Ties back into what we mentioned earlier. You've got to give people the reason why they should pay you and not do it for themselves. If you've given them the material and everything they need in order to do it for themselves, then you are basically creating content that is not giving you clients. It's giving clients away. So growth without intention, while it creates noise, it doesn't always create income. Okay. A smaller targeted audience that understands exactly who you help will always outperform a large general audience. So why being too reliant on social media is risky for your business? Now, this is something I really want all stylists, all image consultants, everybody listening to understand. And I've mentioned it in many different episodes. Social media is rented space. Algorithms change. We know they constantly change. Reach fluctuates. One day you can be, reaching thousands with your video or your post, and the next day you're barely reaching 100. Accounts get shadow banned. It happens a lot. You might get, completely banned from social media, and platforms fall out of favor. When you think about over the past decade or so, all the different types of social media platforms, and while some of them came in really hot and we were using them and we loved them, nobody uses them anymore. So all these things are going to impact your business. Social media is a rented space. It's not a space that you own. So if your entire business relies on daily posting, constant visibility, engagement metrics, you're building your business on unstable ground. If your strategy is focused solely on social media and links to that Stan Store, you don't even have a website to link to, then this is such a risky business strategy that is not going to help you grow. I see too many stylists spending more time filming, editing, planning content, chasing those trends around than actually styling clients, which is what you really want to be doing. That's why you became a stylist. And this type of approach, this type of strategy, it's just not sustainable, and it's not going to help your business grow. And it's not why you got into the business of personal styling in the first place. So follow count is not a metric. This may be uncomfortable for many to hear, especially if you have a large following, but it is important, okay? Follower count is a vanity metric. It's not a business metric. It feels good, right? Having all those followers. It probably makes you feel really confident about your skills as a color analyst or a stylist. If people are engaging with you and agreeing with you, it boosts that ego. It makes you feel confident. But what it doesn't tell you is how many people actually trust you, how many people are ready to buy from you, and how many people will refer you. Okay. A stylist with 500 to 1,000 targeted followers, a clear niche, strong positioning, and a simple booking process can easily outperform a stylist with tens of thousands of followers and no clear offer. So be careful not to let your ego get in the way and focus on the wrong thing. Focusing on your follower count is focusing on a vanity metric, not something that is going to help your business. And the truth is that clients really don't care how many people follow you on social media. The thing that they really do care about is if you can help them. And that's something that you really, really have to remember. If you have one follower, if you have 100,000 followers, the most important thing is, can you help them? And are you showing them that you can help them? So what role should social media play in our personal styling business? Well, social media works best when it supports your business, not when it consumes it and becomes the center, the nucleus of your business. So I want you to start thinking of social media as a visibility tool, a trust builder, and a traffic driver. Mentioned it before about how we're driving people off that rented space of social media and onto our website. Okay. It is a traffic driver. I don't want you to think of it as your only marketing strategy. There has to be other things in that marketing toolbox that you can use that's going to help you get clients. I don't want it to be your main source of validation either. And it definitely shouldn't be your entire workload. The job of social media is to move people off the platform and into a space that you control. That is why you actually create content on social media, okay? To get them off social media, get them onto your website, get them onto your email list, and get them as part of your inquiry process. So what does a realistic social media structure look like for stylists? So instead of asking, how do I grow faster? Ask, how does this help someone decide to work with me? Okay. Very important that you stop with everything that you do in your business and actually ask this question. How does this help someone decide to work with me? A simple structure for social media for personal stylists is going to look kind of like this. So the first thing, it attracts intentionally. You're creating content that speaks to a specific type of client. Not everyone. I've been through this many times. I know that you know this by now. We're not trying to be the stylist to everyone. We have to have our target audience. Okay. And so your content on social media has to be intentional and has to speak directly to those target clients. It's essential that you are clear on who your target clients are so that you can talk directly to them and attract them. Second, it wants to clarify constantly. Okay. Repeat who you help, what you do, and what problem you solve more than it feels necessary. It might even feel a little bit awkward because you feel like you're saying it time and time again, just like I keep saying time and time again, how you don't want to be the stylist to everyone. You have to find your target audience, right? You're going to keep repeating yourself and repeating yourself. And why do you do that? Because it is important. It is the thing that is going to make the difference and make the changes that you're looking for. So repeat it, get it clear, make sure everybody who just happens to stumble across your social media post knows those things. Third, needs to convert simply. So it should be one clear next step. No confusion, no pressure. You create your wonderful post, you give them information, and then you give them the clear step that you want them to take next. Spell it. And then fourth, support outside social media. Okay. Let your website, your emails that you send out, your referrals, your reputation, do the heavy lifting for your business. Social media opens the door. Your business structure does the rest. It does that heavy lifting. So if you don't have that structure in place yet, this is really where you need to focus your time and energy, and not so much on social media, because even if you create all that content on social media and you have nowhere to direct them to, it's just not going to work. It's not going to convert. So if you haven't got that business structure in place, that website, that email list, really start working on it now. So for newer stylists and established stylists, okay, if you're newer, you don't need to build an audience before booking clients. I want to make this very, very clear, okay? What you need is clarity, confidence, and consistency. And if you're established, you've been in the industry a while, you don't need to scale your followers on social media to actually scale your income. What you need is alignment between your marketing and your offers. So in both of these cases, it is going to be strategy that beats volume every single time. So, all right, final thoughts. If you take nothing else from today's episode, let it be this. You don't need to be an influencer on social media to be successful as a stylist. You don't need to post every single day. And you definitely don't need a massive audience to have a successful styling business. What you do need is clear positioning. You need the right audience, and you need a business structure that supports your work and doesn't distract from it. So social media should help you style more and not less. And if it's reversed and you're doing social media more and styling less, it's time to reevaluate your strategy. So that is today's episode. For all of you that wrote in with this question, similar questions, or for all of you listening that this has been playing on your mind, I hope it has brought some clarity for you and you have kind of more of a focal point for your business and your strategies when it comes to using social media. It's not about the follower count at all. You can have hundreds of thousands of followers on social media, and it doesn't mean you're getting a single client for your business. So focus less on the vanity of having followers and focus on the strategies that are actually going to help you get paying clients. And I will see you on the next episode. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Business of Style podcast, then don't forget to hit subscribe so you'll be notified when a new episode is available. And of course, if you're looking for additional training and resources to help you in your career as a personal stylist, then be sure to visit my website, styleacademyintl.com.